My name is Logan Pierce. I'm 50. My wife has been dead for 6 months, and I still can't bring myself to delete her number. There's an echo in the house that doesn't belong to me. Her perfume still clings to the closet. The bathroom light flickers like it used to when she stayed in there too long. I haven't fixed it. Part of me thinks if I change too much, she'll disappear for good. Tonight, I came home late. Rain on my coat, pizza box in one hand, keys in the other. Routine. That's all I have now. Routine and silence. I dropped the box on the kitchen counter, reached for a beer, and that's when it buzzed. One message, unknown number, no name, just 10 words. I am still alive. Trust no one. M. I stared at the screen, blinking, throat dry. It vanished. Gone. I tapped the screen, checked the call history. Nothing. I tried to call back, straight to voicemail. I took a screenshot, heart pounding like someone had hit me in the chest with a hammer. My wife is dead, buried, cremated. I watched them lower her ashes into the ground at St. Jude's. I signed the death certificate. I picked out the urn. So who the hell just texted me? The house felt colder. The walls seemed to move, like they were listening. I moved fast, upstairs, opened the drawer by the bed. Third one down, hers. I hadn't touched it in weeks. It smelled like lavender and ink. I dug through the scarves, the forgotten earrings, the old receipts from Paris. Then I saw it. A small white envelope with my name in her handwriting. Inside, a key. No label, old brass, heavy. And a sticky note, barely hanging on. If anything happens to me, open it alone. My mouth went dry. I checked the back. A 6-digit code, scribbled in blue ink. That wasn't her pen. She never used blue. Downstairs again. My fingers trembled against the kitchen counter. I looked at the pizza. Cold. I opened the bottom drawer under the sink, pulled out a flashlight, checked the batteries, turned it on. Nothing. The house went dark. The lights blew out, every single one. A pop, a hiss, then silence. My breath caught. I turned slowly. Windows faced the backyard. Rain streaked the glass. The light from the street lamp barely cut through. And that's when I saw him. A silhouette, standing in the backyard, unmoving, watching. 6 feet tall, maybe more, hooded. He didn't knock, didn't speak, just stood there. I stepped toward the back door, 1 foot, then the next. Gone, just like that. I swung the door open. Cold air hit me like a slap. Nothing, only the sound of rain and the wind in the trees. No footprints on the wet concrete, no movement. Whoever it was didn't come to talk. They came to warn. There's something I used to tell Marisol when she got too deep into work. Secrets are currency, and someone's always paying. I never thought I'd be the one cashing in. I locked every door, pulled the curtain shut, turned my phone off. Then I pulled the key from my pocket and held it to the light. If Marisol was alive, someone else wanted me dead. The rain hadn't stopped. It blurred the windshield, smeared the headlights, turned the road into a black ribbon of reflection. I drove west, fast, no music, no voice to fill the silence. Just the occasional snap of thunder reminding me I wasn't alone. The key from her drawer weighed like a stone in my pocket. Off I-78, near a crumbling gas station and a burned-out Waffle House, sat a row of gray windowless buildings. Atlas Storage. The sign buzzed, half-lit, like it hadn't been touched in years. Unit numerature 314. I parked crooked, engine running. My breath clouded the window. My fingers hovered over the ignition, thinking twice. Then I cut the engine and stepped out. Cold wind, metal door, rusted lock. The key slid in like it was always meant to. Click. The door groaned open. It smelled like paper and time. Inside, 1 folding chair, 1 plastic bin, 1 dust-covered table, and a cardboard box sealed in black duct tape. That was it. No rats. No flickering horror movie light. Just silence and memory. I stepped in, pulled the string hanging from the ceiling. A single bulb hummed to life. Yellow light. I approached the box first, The tape had her handwriting, blocky sharp, for Logan. Only if I disappear. My chest tightened. I peeled the tape. Slow. Every rip felt like skin tearing. Inside, a flash drive, a bundle of old financial records, a disposable cell phone, one manila envelope, her initials in the corner, MP, and a photo. I froze. It was Marisol, standing in a parking garage, arm in arm with a man I'd never seen. His face partially turned. He wore a leather coat and a grin that didn't reach his eyes. She was smiling. The timestamp said 1 month before her accident. My stomach dropped. I opened the envelope next. Inside, a handwritten note. If you found this, it means I failed, but they'll come for you next. Don't trust anyone. Not Elias. Not even the police. Get out of the house. Get out of your life. I dropped the letter. The light bulb above me blinked. Once. Twice. Then it shattered. Glass rained onto the floor. I backed up, pulse hammering. My breath caught in my throat. Someone was outside. Shadow under the door. Heavy steps on wet pavement. I snapped the flash drive into my back pocket, grabbed the burner phone, then dove behind the table. My heart beat in my ears like gunfire. The lock jiggled. I held my breath. 1 breath. 2. 3. Silence. Then the footsteps retreated. Gone. I waited. 10 minutes, maybe more. Then I ran. Back in the car, door slammed shut, engine screaming to life. I peeled out, my knuckles white on the wheel. I didn't stop driving until I saw streetlights again. Somewhere safe. Motel sign flickering blue and red. I parked, checked in under a fake name. No ID. Cash only. Inside, I plugged the flash drive into the motel TV. No password. A folder popped up. 4 files. One named If They Find Me. I clicked it. Video. Grainy? A living room. Dark. The angle was crooked, like it had been recorded in secret. Marisol sat on the couch, face pale, hands shaking. She whispered, "Logan, if you ever see this, I'm sorry I dragged you into it, but it was never about us. I needed you to be normal so they'd never look at you. I lied to protect you, not from them, but from me, because I was part of it once, and I couldn't let them win." Cut to black. No explanation, no names, just her eyes, wide, terrified, and honest. Someone knocked on the motel door. 3 slow knocks. I didn't breathe, didn't move. They knocked again. Then silence. I crept to the window, peeled back the curtain an inch. Nothing, just the parking lot. And a black SUV idling across the street. No lights, no plates. She wasn't hiding from the world. She was hiding from someone inside it. I didn't sleep. I sat in that motel room, lights off, burner phone in hand, laptop open to the paused video of Marisol's eyes. She looked at me like she was already mourning something. Not her own life, mine. At 6:07 a.m., I made the call. "Elias, it's Logan. We need to talk. Now." He didn't ask why, just gave me an address downtown. His voice was flat, like he already knew. The sun hadn't burned through the clouds when I pulled up to his office. 6th floor, glass everywhere, surveillance cameras on every corner. It felt like walking into a bank vault wrapped in fake safety. I checked the hall. 2 guards, both watching. Elevator right up, silent. When the doors opened, Elias was already standing in front of me, suit sharp, tie darker than his smile. "Logan," he said, voice clipped, "you look like hell. You'd be surprised how motivating a text from your dead wife can be." He didn't flinch. He just stepped aside and let me in. We sat. No coffee, no small talk. "You were close to Marisol," I said. He nodded slowly. "She was brilliant. The type who walks into a room and everyone looks dumber. And you didn't tell me she was working on something dangerous." His brow twitched. "She kept secrets," he said, "even from me." "But not from the man in the photo," I said, pulling the image from my coat pocket and sliding it across the desk. He stared, blinked once. "No idea who he is." "Funny, he's wearing your watch." Silence. I leaned forward. You need to stop pretending. Whatever Marisol was into, whatever you two were part of, it's not buried. She's not buried. And someone's coming after me because of it." He opened his mouth, then froze. Behind me, the elevator dinged. 2 men in dark suits stepped into the room like they'd rehearsed it. Badges. Department of Justice. "Logan Pierce," one said. I stood. "What the hell is this?" "You're under investigation for the disappearance of Marisol Pierce. You'll need to come with us." "She's not missing. She's dead," the agent said, raising an eyebrow. "Then why did your wife transfer over $400,000 into your offshore account 2 days before the fire?" That hit me like a brick. "What offshore account?" They didn't answer. I turned to Elias. He looked calm, too calm. And then I saw it. His phone screen still lit, sitting beside his keyboard. A single outgoing call to a number labeled D. Voss. Distraction reveal. I lunged for the door. The agents moved, but not fast enough. I hit the hallway. Alarms blared. I shoved past a woman with coffee, slammed the stairwell door open, and ran. 4 flights down, boots pounding metal, 5th floor, 4th, 3rd. Door slammed below. More suits closing in. 2nd. I burst out onto a landing, found a maintenance ladder, and jumped. It cracked under me, but held. Rain hammered. The rooftop like fists. I sprinted across the rooftop, found an adjoining fire escape, swung down, hit pavement, breathing hard, eyes wide, muscles tight. Sirens wailed 3 blocks down. I ducked into an alley, disappeared into the crowd of mourning commuters. No one looked twice. The only way to stay alive was to stop being Logan Pierce. There's a line Marisol used to say, half joking, "If you run fast enough, your past can't shoot straight." She said it when we first moved in together. I thought she meant heartbreak. Now I think she meant this. I found a payphone. Yes, those still exist. Inserted coins, dialed the only person left. "Isabel," I said, "I'm being hunted. I need to know who Damien Voss is." She didn't hesitate. "Meet me tonight. St. Bridget's, basement level, midnight." Click. The line went dead. If they think I killed Marisol, what did Elias do to her? St. Bridget's sat at the edge of downtown like a forgotten relic. Wooden doors warped, cross-crooked, windows fractured into spiderwebs of stained glass. Midnight rain hammered the pavement, the kind of night where every sound felt like a warning. I checked the street twice. No cars, no silhouettes, no black SUV. Still, I knew better than to trust the quiet. A voice kept replaying in my head, something my father used to say when life got tight. When the room feels too still, that's when the knife is already behind you. Great. Comforting. I pushed the heavy front door open. The hinges screamed. A gust of cold air slapped my face. The sanctuary was empty. Candles half burned. Bible pages torn. A place abandoned by faith long before me. The basement stairs creaked loud enough to wake the dead. Isabel stood at the bottom, hood up, face pale in the flickering light of a single utility bulb. She looked like she hadn't slept in a week. "You came," she whispered. "Didn't have much of a choice." "You always have a choice. You just keep choosing the dangerous one." "Then tell me why. Tell me who the hell Damien Voss is." She motioned me toward a table. Metal, rusted. A laptop sat on top. A thick binder beside it. "Sit." I didn't. "Talk first." She sighed and pulled her hood down. Dark hair, tired eyes. Someone who'd seen too many things and lived anyway. Marisol wasn't just a financial analyst, she said. She was undercover, deep, years deep, embedded in a network laundering money through shell corporations, political PACs, and private banks. That still doesn't explain the fake death, or the warning, or... It explains all of it. Her voice hardened. She found the wrong name in the wrong ledger. She slid the binder toward me. The first page showed a flowchart. Dozens of shell companies, offshore accounts, all connected by a single name. Damien Voss, CEO, philanthropist, political donor, a man who'd bought his reputation like a custom suit, and, apparently, Marisol's secret handler. My pulse kicked into overdrive. You're telling me my wife was working for him? No, Isabel said. I'm telling you she used to, until she realized he wasn't exposing corruption. He was orchestrating it. A crack of thunder shook the walls. Cutscene. Isabel opened the laptop. A file played, audio only. A clipped conversation, male voice. If she talks, it brings down the whole chain. Not just you, me, everything. Isabel looked at me. That's him, Damien Voss. And Elias? I asked. Her silence was an answer. I pressed harder. Was he working with Marisol or betraying her? She swallowed. Both. Before I could respond, a sound echoed above us. Glass breaking. Isabel jerked backward, eyes wide. They found us. How? I whispered. She pointed to my jacket. The burner phone. It wasn't clean. Another crash. Footsteps overhead. Fast. Heavy. Purposeful. The utility bulb flickered. Cutscene. A shadow moved at the top of the stairs. Run, Isabel whispered. We darted down a narrow hallway, lined with broken catechism posters and peeling paint. Behind us, boots on concrete. Close. Too close. The hallway opened into a storage room cluttered with pews and broken organ pipes. A back door. Locked. Rusted. I rammed it with my shoulder. Nothing. Move, Isabel hissed. She kicked the metal bar. It snapped. Cold air swept in. Rain poured sideways. Sirens wailed in the distance. We sprinted into the alley. A bullet hit the wall beside me. Concrete sprayed my face. I ducked behind a dumpster. Isabel slid beside me, clutching her arm, blood leaking through her sleeve. You're hit. It's nothing. It's not nothing. I said it's nothing. Her voice cracked, but her eyes stayed fierce, determined. Whatever she'd been through before, this wasn't her first chase. Another shot. The dumpster rang like a bell. We crawled to the other side, slipped through a chain-link fence, and collapsed behind a row of trash bins. My lungs burned. Isabel's breath rattled. They won't stop, she whispered. You understand that now, right? Tell me why, I said. Why go through all this? She met my eyes. Because Marisol didn't die for fear. She disappeared because they were afraid of her. The rain intensified. The shadows thickened. Somewhere nearby, footsteps splashed through puddles. Slow, methodical, hunting. Isabel leaned close, voice barely a breath. And Logan. The moment you opened that storage unit, you stepped into her war. She looked over my shoulder, her face drained of color. They're here. She didn't have to say who. I already knew. She didn't die because she was afraid. She disappeared because they were. We didn't go to a hospital. Hospitals ask questions. We found an old safe house Isabel once used when she was running field contacts. It was a half-renovated loft above a boarded-up bookstore, the kind of place where you check the locks twice and sleep with your shoes on. She cleaned her wound in silence. I watched from across the room, heart still sprinting. Every creak outside, every shadow in the glass, I was ready to bolt. You trust her? I asked finally. Isabel looked up. Who? Marisol. A pause. She trusted me. That's enough. I didn't answer. My gut didn't know what to feel. Rage, fear, hope, all wired into the same current. There's something I once heard. The truth doesn't care how ready you are. It shows up anyway. I powered up the laptop. Help me get into that encrypted partition. She nodded, slid over, fingers moving fast. Code on screen. Lines like falling rain. Her breath slowed, focused. Click. We were in. Folders, dozens of them, all named after corporations, accounts, legal groups. One stood out. Voss Archive, red-locked. Isabel ran the override. Inside, hundreds of financial records, internal memos, video clips, phone logs, metadata tagged shadow accounts in the Caymans, in Malta, in Delaware, and in the middle of it, my name. Logan Pierce. She froze. I leaned forward. A dozen offshore accounts, wire transfers totaling over $3.2 million. Set up using my SSN old driver's license, forged notary signatures. My blood turned to ice. I never I didn't open these. Isabel didn't look surprised. That's how they bury people, she said. They give you a motive before you even know you need one. Click. She opened one more file. Marriage docs scan. Final, a PDF popped up. Our marriage certificate, only something was off. The witness signature, not a stranger, Damien Voss. Signed with a fake name, but the handwriting matched samples on 3 of the internal memos we just saw. He was at my wedding. He watched me put a ring on her finger, and he let me think I chose that moment. I slammed my fist into the desk. What was I to her? Isabel stayed quiet, then said softly, "Protection." My head dropped. She used me. No, she needed you to look like an ordinary man with an ordinary life. That's what kept her alive for so long. The day she fell in love with you was the day she became a liability to them. I stared at the screen, at our names, linked by ink and blood, and something that never really belonged to me. You ever love someone, I said, and wonder if they were just pretending? For your sake. Isabel looked away. Cut scene. Her phone buzzed. Text only. Voss. Leaving country. Private hangar. So 400. 1 hour. She showed it to me. This is the only shot you'll get. My pulse kicked. We stop him. Tonight. She nodded. He has the original hard drive. We get it. We kill the trail. I grabbed my jacket, tossed her the burner. She loaded her weapon. No backup, no cavalry, just us. Then we make it count. Cutscene. Rain again. Harder now. We stole a beat-up sedan from the alley. No plates, no GPS. Isabel drove like she'd done this before. I loaded a wrench into my coat pocket. No gun, just instinct and desperation. The hangar sat on the edge of a small airfield. No towers, no TSA. Private jet already warming up. Lights flashing. He's here. We cut the headlights, slid through the fence, moved low across the runway. The wind howled. Then, a flashlight beam. 2 guards. We ducked behind a fuel tank. I'll draw them, Isabel whispered. You go for the plane. No, I'm not asking. Before I could stop her, she bolted. Gunshots lit the sky. I ran, heart thudding, shoes pounding metal. My hand gripped the wrench like a lifeline. Voss stepped onto the plane stairwell. 2 steps from disappearing forever, I shouted. He turned. That smug, perfect smile. He pulled a pistol. Too late. I tackled him to the ground. Metal clanged. We rolled. He elbowed me hard. I slammed the wrench across his jaw. He screamed. We fought like animals. One goal, survive. Then, I saw it. The drive, clutched in his left hand. I punched, grabbed, pulled. He fired, missed, screamed again. Do you even know what's on this? He snarled. I don't care. I slammed the wrench into his shoulder. He dropped the gun. I grabbed the drive. Sirens in the distance now. Isabel limping toward us, bleeding but alive. The sky cracked with thunder, and Damien Voss lay broken beside his plane, blood on his teeth, eyes still burning with hate. If I can't kill him, I'll burn his empire to the ground. The sirens were real this time. Blue and red tore through the rain as 2 black SUVs cut across the tarmac. Tactical agents poured out, weapons raised, fast and practiced. They didn't shout. They didn't hesitate. Damien Voss didn't resist. He just smiled. As they cuffed him to the ground, blood pooling beneath his jaw, he looked up at me and said, "You think you've won? This isn't the end. It never ends." I didn't answer. Some men break when you beat them. Others break when you survive them. The drive made its way to federal hands. Isabel collapsed in the back of an ambulance, pressure on her shoulder, breath shallow but steady. She didn't flinch, didn't groan. She just watched them load Damien into the armored transport with the eyes of someone who knew what justice cost. We didn't speak much that night. Too much weight, not enough breath. She handed me a burner before they took her to the ER. Stay invisible. Don't trust the press. Don't trust anyone who says they believe you. Wait 3 days, then go to the place she wrote about in the journal. What place? You'll know. Then the doors shut. And she was gone. 3 days later, sunlight broke through for the first time since this started. It felt foreign, too soft for the man I'd become. I followed the coordinates Isabel left me. Upstate, mountains, pines, a lake that reflected the sky too clearly. The cabin sat on the edge of nowhere, exactly like she said, off-grid, shielded by trees, hidden behind a fake for sale sign. I stepped inside. It smelled like cedar and silence. The fireplace still warm. Footsteps creaked across the loft. I turned. Marisol stood at the top of the stairs, alive, thin, pale, but alive. She didn't run. She didn't speak. She just looked at me like she'd been staring into this moment from the other side of a cliff, praying I'd make it across. Neither of us moved. Then she said, "I didn't think you'd come. I didn't think you'd still be here." I almost wasn't. I walked to the kitchen, hands shaking, poured water, didn't drink. "You used me," I said. "Yes." "You lied to me." "Every day." "Why?" She paused, then stepped forward, voice low. "Because I loved you, and I thought keeping you in the dark would keep you safe." I looked at her, not the way I used to, not with adoration, with weight, with anger and understanding tangled together. "You should have told me. If I had, you'd be dead." Silence. There's something cruel about truth. It waits until you can't go back to give you the one thing you needed from the start. We sat. We didn't touch, but we breathed in the same rhythm again. And in that moment, it was enough. The press ran with it for weeks. Finance tycoon exposed in global money laundering scandal. No mention of me, no photos of Marisol. The system protected itself by erasing us, and we let it. Some things are louder when they disappear. She lives off-grid now, still hunted, still hidden. Sometimes I stay, sometimes I leave. We don't pretend it's love the way it used to be. It's not, but it's real. We talk about the past like two soldiers comparing wounds. Neither of us won. Neither of us died. That's the best deal we'll get. There's one thing I tell myself now, when sleep comes slow and doubt creeps in. I buried my wife once. I won't lose her again. Not this time.